Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasdeva, the author. Nashtapaishvabhuteshu nityam bhagavate sevaya bhagavate uttamastoke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in the classes of Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service to the personality of God, whose spirit and sons and songs established as irrevocable fact. Om Jnanantimatasya Jnanachalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual masters my eyes with the light of knowledge. Our manifestation of businesses unto me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We'll be reading from 32 to 33 to 34 to 37, and we'll focus on verse 37. We can read it together or one by one.
One word. O Lord, during the time of Mankind, you manifest several incarnations, all with your transcendental bodies, beyond the material modes of nature. When you appear in this way, you bestow all good fortune upon living entities by teaching them to perform Vedic activities such as ritualistic ceremony, mystic yoga, austerities, penances, and ultimately samadhi, ecstatic absorption in thoughts of you. Thus you are worshipped by Vedic principles.
30 scroll down.
O Lord, causes of all causes, if your transcendental body were not beyond the modes of material nature, one could not understand the difference between matter and transcendence. Only by your presence can one understand the transcendental nature of your Lordship. Who are the controllers of material nature? Your transcendental nature is very difficult to understand unless one is influenced by the presence of your transcendental form.
O Lord, your transcendental name and form are not ascertained by those who merely speculate on the path of imagination. Your name from the attributes can be ascertained only through devotional service.
Even while engaged in various activities, devotees whose minds are completely absorbed at your lotus feet and who constantly hear, chant, contemplate, and cause others to remember your transcendental names and forms are always on the transcendental platform, and thus they can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
37. Shanvan Granansam Smaryam Chachintayam Namani Rupani Chamangarante Namani Rupani Cha Mangalani Te.
Kriyashu Yastava Charanaravindayor.
Kriyasu Yasva Charanaravindaya.
Avsti Chetanam Bhavaya Kalapate.
Avishta Chetana Bhava Kalpate.
Shanvan Ganansam Smaryam Chachintayan.
Shraman Viram Sam Smarayam Sachintayam.
Namani Rupani Cha Mangalani Te.
Namani Rupani Cha Mangalani Te.
Kriyashu Yastava Charanaravindayor.
Kriyasu Yasva Charanaravindaya.
Avista Chetana Bhavaya Kalapate.
Avishta Chetana Bhavaya Kalpate.
Shravanam Granansam Smaryam Chachintayan.
Shravan Granasam Smaram
Chachintaya.
Namani Rupani Cha Mangalani Te.
Namani Rupani Cha Mangalani Te.
Kriyaya Suya Strakcharnaravindayo.
Kriyashu Yastava Charanaravindayor.
Avishta Chetana Bhavaya Kalpate.
Avishta Chetana Bhavaye Nikalpate.
Shanvan Vidansam Smarayam Shashintayan.
Shanvan Ganansam Smaryam Sachintaya.
Namani Rupani Cha Mangalani Te.
Namani Rupani Cha Mangalani Te.
Kriyasu Yashtava Charanaravindaya.
Kriyashu Yastava Charanaravindayor.
Avishta Chetana Bhavaya Kalpate.
Avishta Chetana Bhava Kalpate. Sharmangiram Sam Smarayam Sachintayam.
Namani
Rupani Cha Mangalani Te.
Namani
Rupani Cha Mangalani Te.
Kriyashu Yastava Charanaravindayor. Avishta
Chetana Bhava Kalpate.
We can read it together. Shravan. Constantly hearing about the Lord. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Granam. Chanting or reciting the holy name of the Lord and his activities. Samsaran. Remembering. Constantly thinking of the Lord for his feet and his form. Sha. And Chintaya. Contemplating the transcendental activities of the Lord. Namani. His transcendental names. Rupani. His transcendental forms. Cha. Also. Mangalani. Which are all transcendental and therefore auspicious. They, of your lordship, Kriyashu, in being engaged in the devotion service. Yeah, he who, Tavacharana Arvindayo, at your lotus feet, Avishta Cheta, the devotee is completely absorbed in such activities. Na, not, Bhavaya, for the material platform, Kalapate, is fit. Translation, we can read this together as well. Even while engaged in various activities, devotees whose minds are completely absorbed at your lotus feet and who constantly hear and chant, contemplate, and cause others to remember your transcendental names and forms are always on the transcendental form, and thus they can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who will read purport?
How Bhakti Yoga can be practiced is explained in this verse. Srila Rupa Goswami has said that anyone who has dedicated his life to the service of the Lord, Iha Yashya Hare Dashya, by his activities, his mind and his words, Karmana Manasa Vya, may stay in any condition of life. Nikhilasya Api Avastashu, and yet is no longer actually conditioned but is liberated. Jivan Mukta Sa Uchyate. Even though such a devotee is in a material body, he has nothing to do with his body, for he is transcendentally situated. Narayana Paraha Sarvena Kutaschana Bhiyati. Because the devotee is engaged in transcendental activities, he is not afraid of being materially embodied. Bhagavatam 6:70-22. Illustrating this liberated position, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed, Mama Janmani Janvineshwari All I want is your costless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. Even if a devotee by the supreme will of the Lord takes birth in this material world, he continues his devotional service. When King Bharata made a mistake and in his life became a deer, his devotional service did not stop. Although some slight chastisement was given to him because of his negligence, Ramamuni says that even if one falls from the platform of devotional service, he is not lost, whereas non-devotees are lost entirely because they are not engaged in service. Bhagavad Gita 9:14. Therefore, recommends that one always engage at least in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Satsang Kirtan Dukam Amritasya Vidavada Namayasya Bhaktyam Nishchayutta Upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, the great souls perpetually worship me with devotion.
One should not give up the process of devotional service, which is performed in 9 different ways: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Adsevanam, etc. The most important process is hearing, Shravanam, from the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, the spiritual master, the seemingly acharyas, and the Vedic literature. Sadhu, Shastras, Guru Vakya, Chitate Kodiyakya. We should not hear the commentaries and explanations of non-devotees, for this is strictly forbidden by Srila Sanatana Goswami, who quotes from Padma Purana. Together.
Shvarnam naiva kartvayam sarpochishtam yathapaya.
We should strictly follow this injunction and never try to hear from Mayavadis, impersonalists, voidists, politicians, and so-called scholars. Strictly avoiding such inauspicious association, we should simply hear from pure devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends Sri Guru Padashraya. One must seek the shelter at the lotus feet of a pure devotee who can be one's guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises that a guru is one who strictly follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. Yare Letha Kare Kahe Krishna Upadesh. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 7.128. A juggler, a magician, or one who speaks nonsense as an academic career is not a guru. Rather, a guru is one who presents Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's instruction, as it is. Shravana is very important. One must hear from the Vaishnava, Sadhu, Guru, and Shastra.
Shatra Prabhu. Shatra.
The word.
The word here means by manual labor or by work. It's important in this word. We engage in practical service to the Lord in our Krishna conscious movement. All our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. This is very important. When we approach any person and induce him to read Krishna literature so that in the future he also may become a devotee. Such activities are recommended in this verse, Kriyashu Yashtva Charanaravandayo. Such activities will always remind the devotees of the Lord's lotus feet. By fully concentrating on distributing books of Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna. This is Samadhi.
Jai. This will be the discussion-based class. I would need all your help to put your inputs in this and help me. In this verse, Prabhupada is teaching us how we can practice Bhakti Yoga. We all know the processes of devotional service, all the 9 different ways. I will share something. When I started my Krishna consciousness life, I started with reading this book, On the Way to Krishna. And at that time, this book was an ordinary book for me. And I did not know how after 3 years, I'll be sitting here with everyone. And actually, I will be on the way to Krishna. Prabhupada books are not an ordinary books. They have some magic and they are very, very, very powerful. We see that sometimes when we are reading books, when we are reading any paragraph from Prabhupada book, it's impossible to control ourselves that what's happening in the next page. It's very difficult. That's magic it has in it. And Vaishaka Prabhu, while distributing books, he said one day that if you're distributing book, if someone is not buying it, not taking it, just let them touch the book. this statement is very powerful. Why he said that? Because that book is very, very, very powerful. And just touching the book, it can do magic to you. And Krishna talks to you through his books. And personally, he's present and he's talking and teaching us. And Prabhupada is guiding us through that. So here I just wanted to mention that how reading and hearing about Krishna really bring us closer to him. Even then is like now hearing. It has happened with every one of us. Like sometimes when we are very confused or we are lost and we are like searching for something, either we meet someone in the temple, any devotee, or we are hearing some lecture, or if we are listening to something, you just feel like, oh my God, this is what I really wanted to hear. This is what I really wanted to know. At that time, that's how Krishna reciprocates. That's how Krishna talks to you. But we don't understand that at some point, just because we are conditioned in that way, and also we are gratifying our senses. We know that we are gratifying our senses, but we'll never ever accept it. Why will not accept it? Because senses are getting gratified, we are getting pleasure, and we will never understand that Krishna is here personally present through his words, through his books, and then in the purport it is mentioned that we should never hear from non-devotees and Mayavadis and impersonalists. Why? Because Maya is always present. Maya is always looking for one chance, that when we'll get that one chance and then she will attack us. And at that time, non-devotees are like, when they're telling us, when they're talking about Bhagavad Gita, they may talk about it, but they will just take out Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita, and they will tell us how we can be mindful, how we can work through mind and yoga, but they don't know that the highest thing is like Bhakti yoga. We must be very careful while talking to non-devotees, because this happened with me personally. One day I was talking to my friends and I was telling them about Krishna consciousness, and they just started, and their one statement just made me think like for 2-3 days, like, and it arise 100 questions against Krishna for me, and I was like, I'm not able to feel connection with Krishna, and why did Krishna did that to me? Why is he doing that? You see, I just talked with that one person, and that person just brought all my 3 years of practicing Krishna consciousness into questioning Krishna, like, okay, Krishna, why did you do that? I don't trust you anymore. So then in the purport, they also mentioned that we should approach a guru, like you should always reach out to guru, and that guru will help you. Then when this was happening with me, I went to Maharaj. I was telling him that, Maharaj, this happened. I don't think that I can trust Krishna anymore. I don't feel connection with him. And Maharaj was like, instead of consoling me and saying, yes, you're right, he just told me that, you know what, can you just take a notebook and write down what Krishna has done for you in the last 3 years? Can you just write down? And I was like, okay. He's like, just go and write it and then come back to me. And I went. When I started writing, I was like overwhelmed. Like, oh my God, Krishna, you have done a lot for me. And why this one statement of this non-devotee or this person just made you question for you, like 100 questions arise. And then I went back to him and I was like, Maharaj, this is 1 page, full paragraph. Can you just see this? And then he just told me that, how do you feel now? I'm like, I love Krishna a lot. I cannot live without him. So you see how a guru, how an advanced devotee helps you. They don't only just remove this distraction. They don't only just help you in getting, they just help you and bring you more closer to Krishna. So you just be very, very, very careful about being away from all these non-devotees, just to protect yourself. At some point, Krishna will not let us go. He loves us so much. He will not let us go like this. But still, he cannot force us. I was listening to the lecture of Mahatma Prabhu, and he was saying that we are jiva, we are independent, and we have this free will. So Krishna cannot force us to come closer to us. But he will make some situations like that He will bring up some opportunities. He will make us meet with some devotees so that we can reach out to him. We can go near him. So, but he will never force us. So that's how we have to try from our end too. We have to protect ourselves, our sadhana. And same as like Maya can attack you anytime. If your sadhana is not that strong, there are high chances of falling down. So we need to be very, very, very careful when we hear from someone who is not practicing this, because Krishna has chosen us. We need to be very grateful and respectful. And whenever we feel like we cannot trust Krishna, or there are some questions like, why Krishna, why did you do that to me? Just start writing. So writing that, what he has given you, what he has done for you. Then you see how this thing will turn into an opposite way and bring you more closer to Krishna. Then in the last paragraph, they are saying this word is kriya issue. Kriya issue it means engaging in practical services. It's not about just thinking and just talking philosophically about Krishna. It's about engaging your body, your mind, and your consciousness towards him. You can take example of Srimati Radharani, how she serves Krishna personally. She fans him when he's sitting, and then she decorates her room, his room and his seat, and then she cooks kheer for him. So you see, and then whenever she's talking with gopis, she's talking about Krishna only. So in every way, she's just serving Krishna. So why can't we do it? We just do chanting, we listen to the lecture, and then we just read some book, paragraphs, okay, we are done. Yeah, this is also a very wonderful thing we're doing, but why not 24/7? And how we can? So I was thinking about this personally, like how I can, like while reading this verse, I was like, how can I focus on Krishna 24/7? And then I was like, okay, when I wake up because I have to attend Mangala Aarti. It's in a schedule, I have to be there. But why not I am waking up at 4 a.m. just because I have to see Krishna? He's waiting for me, he's opening his doors for me. So you can engage like that. So your mind is thinking about Krishna. You're taking bath, just think like, okay, I'm taking bath because I want to be clean for Krishna. And then when you're having prasadam, not because Krishna, thank you for you gave me this prasadam, but also you can think like, oh, let me just have this and let me see that was the salt proper and was this amazing for Krishna? How was it? Not when you have the prasadam and there is like less salt and you put more salt in it. Like, okay, let me just put more salt in it. So why we shouldn't be doing like that at some point. And then while sleeping, okay, Krishna, I'm sleeping because I want to see you in my dreams. So we can engage like this. And you see, when you will start doing this every day, there will be like very less chances of hurting devotees. In the end, you will not feel like, oh, I hurt that person. Because this happens every day. I feel like this, like, okay, I ended up hurting this person because I was not in that consciousness. I'm done with my chanting. I'd read book and I'm all done. I did my practice. But if I think in the small little details, like how I can serve Krishna, then there will be like very less chances of hurting devotees. Even when you clean your room, I'm cleaning my room not because I don't like my room to be messy, because Krishna doesn't like this and he will love it when I'll clean the room. So, this is how you can serve Krishna practically. This is what it's mentioned here, the word kriyashu, that this is how you can practically serve Krishna. Then it's there. And then it's like Krishna, it's not like you are doing everything. Krishna do reciprocate in every way, in everything. You just have to sit down and reflect, like how he's reciprocating. He is there in our heart. If you focus, if you sit and you see if you are taking any decision, there will be a voice coming from your heart, like, do this. If you follow that, that's Krishna surrendering, like, Krishna, okay, that's you talking to me. And so we really need to realize, we really need to reflect and see that Krishna is reciprocating in every way. And we all know that in this temple, Gopinath is very, very, very active. Whatever you do, he'll always be there, like, giving you answers for that. So this is how we can live our life full of practically in Krishna consciousness. That's why Srila Prabhupada always said you should always have sadhu sangha. Devotees really help us in doing this, but we also need to be, let's just not focus more on, like, yes, at some point we have to focus on chanting, literature, but if you go deeply on details, these little small things will help us in our chanting, in our reading. And if you see, this will really work. And that's why nowadays we say that we are working, we are studying, we are very busy, we don't have time to do this. And Prabhupada and Mahaprabhu has made this very easy for us. Just chant. If you cannot chant, just listen. You can put audios. And if you cannot listen, just read. If you cannot do that, get the association of devotees. And not even that, you can't even do that, just serve. Like, you can clean the temple, do anything, like just surrender to Krishna. I can do this, I'm doing this for you, I cannot do anything else. So Krishna will help you. He will purify your heart. He will bring that love in your heart. He will bring that love in your heart. So this is what is, I think that's very important. This is how we can practically do this. Anyone have any point to add?
I really liked when he said Krishna cannot force us, but he can put on some situation in your life.
Yes.
That is like indirectly forcing us, but but it's very sweet. Like, see, Krishna doesn't interfere in your free will,
Yeah.
but he will put you in a situation where you will have a chance to go away from him, but there will be chance where you can also go closer to him. So I feel like in devotee's life, Krishna is personally present,
Yes.
and he is putting on situations from where we can actually come closer to him. Sometimes it's our ignorance that we cannot see that how this situation is favorable to my Krishna consciousness, or how I can go closer to Krishna in this situation. So I think we can pray to Krishna that give us that intelligence in which we can, in every situation, we are just wanting to go close to him.
Yes. Thank you.
for sharing.
Yeah, I really liked how we explained about Kriyashu. It was very nice. And like how, I think to Moral Prabhu's point, like how we are acting like in a safety net. If you see parents, sometimes children just like to run around everywhere, and that's what we're trying to do. But Krishna has maintained the safety net for us.
Yes.
And and when we touch the safety net, or when we crash onto the safety net, we realize, oh, we can come back, to the middle where the parent is standing. So that's I really like that. Plus about cleaning the room. Now I've got a new perspective to why I should keep my room clean.
Yes.
Because I don't want, but Krishna wants it to be clean. So
Yes.
that is something I will definitely make sure. It is very nice, and especially the point where Gopinath is very active in this temple, and everyone has experienced that. So
Yes.
this is very interesting in that way.
Thank you. Yes.
Please go ahead.
So actually, she mentioned one point that she met her Guru Maharaj. We were discussing in the class yesterday. You remember, Mantu? There's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam 4:22-7. I don't know if we can pull that up. So in that purport, Prithu Maharaj is saying to four Kumaras that my dear great sages, auspiciousness personified, it is very difficult for even the mystic yogis to see you. Indeed, you are very rarely seen. I do not know what kind of pious activity I have performed for you to grace you by appearing before me without difficulty. So, Prabhupada actually writes, I want to focus on this line specifically. It says, when something uncommon happens in one's progressive spiritual life, it should be understood to be inferred by agyasvriti or pious activities beyond one's knowledge. So when you come into Krishna consciousness, it's not an ordinary or coincidence. Oh, suddenly you jumped into. No. We have done some agyasvriti, some pious activities, right? Like in Bhagavad Gita is mentioned, yesham antagatam papam. You previously all your bad karmas are finished. Jananam punyam karanam. Your punya pious activities come up, and then with ananya bhakti you serve Krishna. So it's not something ordinary like we are sitting here in this room, discussing about out of 8 billion people, right? How many are doing Krishna conscious? So we have somewhere done in a previous life. That's how we be able to meet a guru, right? And in fact, the devotees. It's not just random thing. So yeah.
There's one thing that just came to my mind. when we were in Japa workshop, I think everyone knows Chitrangani,
Yes.
Paramala Prabhu's daughter. She told me, and that was a very powerful statement. She said Krishna is like our mother. She's present everywhere, even though he's a boy. So I think I've been thinking about that statement, and when you say that Krishna is everywhere and Gopinath is active here, but at the same time, when you step out, Krishna in some other form is active. If you pray to, let's say Radha Madhav, please allow me to come to Mayapur or something, then they reciprocate. So he's active everywhere, and it just actually reminds me of, like Mother's Day in general are like that. You ask, I want this, I want noodles, I want this. So they're just like ready to dispose, okay, whatever you want. So that I think I just wanted to remember Chitrani.
Yes, that's very beautiful. Yes, Krishna is personally present. For us, he has special love for all of us because we are trying to go towards him. We are trying to serve him and love him. So he's giving us special attention. But still, because of our conditioning at some point, and also I want to mention this one point. We say we gratify our senses. We feel like senses are getting gratified, but they are not. They will only get gratified when we'll use those senses in Krishna's service. It just us because we're getting pleasure just for a short period of time. That's just very temporary. That's not for permanent. But when you use those senses for Krishna, then you feel that's permanent. That stays forever. So and these things only comes when you reflect and when we realize, when we look like what we are doing and why we are doing, why we are focusing on Krishna, and is he really present? When you focus, when you realize, and when you reflect, then you really see how Krishna has reciprocated. If you sit down after when you go to bed, if you go you just reflect, just think that, okay, in a day, let me just see when Krishna reciprocated. If you will really focus, you will see that he really reciprocated many, many, many times in a day. It was just because we never got a chance. We never give that chance to reflect on that. I also want to mention that when we went to High Park, so we were looking at that animals. I think I was talking to you that Prabhu, see this zoo, and animals are in this cage. They cannot go out. They cannot talk. They cannot listen. They cannot hear Krishna. How fortunate we are. Like Krishna gave us this human life, and then Prabhupada gave us books and is guiding us. And why not we take advantage of this? But we don't want to. Why? Because gratifying our senses. Those senses which will only get gratified when we will use them for Krishna. So these processes, hearing, chanting, remembering, or listening about Krishna, practically serving him, this will really, really help us in going closer to Krishna. And then Krishna, and that's how Krishna can be understood by devotees. It's mentioned there in the translation. Yes, that Krishna can only be understood by his devotees. Why? Because his devotees are trying to serve him. His devotees are loving him. His devotees are hankering for his association. They want to see him. So Krishna cannot stop himself. So that's why only devotees can understand him, not other people. Because non-devotees, they will have their own speculations, own thoughts, because their focus is not serving Krishna. There is how we can bring out the point, telling them science is more superior than what Krishna is doing. But Krishna is everything. So that's all for now. Please forgive me if I said something wrong, and you can. Thanks, Prabhu.
I think I have a few more points I would like to
Yes,
mention.
yes.
You said, why not 24/7 Krishna consciousness? Right? This is very important. Sometimes, even though we live in temple, we forget this.
Yes.
We are Krishna conscious, maybe during morning program, maybe during service hours, maybe during
when we are doing kirtan or when we are taking darshan. But rest of the time, oh, we are me conscious, or we are, self-conscious, we are self-centered. We want to serve ourselves. How can I be better? How can I, uh, be more comfortable? So this is very important. It's like a very gentle, good reminder. Yes, thank you for sharing that. And then you were talking about hurting anyone. You cannot hurt someone if you are Krishna conscious. It's very powerful. Imagine you are singing for Krishna, and you are genuinely offering that singing with devotion. You cannot think ill of some devotees during that, while you are Krishna conscious. So like that, they cannot go together. That's what I'm trying to say. So if we try to be Krishna conscious, if we try to see Krishna everywhere and in everyone, it's impossible for us to hurt anyone.
Yes.
So this is a very important point that you saw. And the tendency to hurt someone, where does it come from? It comes from self-centeredness.
Yes.
It comes from gratifying our senses. Because if we see them as Krishna's devotees, or servant of Krishna, then we won't be able to hurt them. Because how can we hurt Krishna's man or Krishna's woman, right? No. And I think this is the last one. When you said when we gratify our senses, we are not actually gratifying them. It's actually there in Bhagavad Gita that when you are trying to gratify your senses, you are actually pouring ghee in fire. So you are actually agitating your senses more. It's like scratching the itch. Prabhupada gives example of scratching the itch. It will become more itchy. So real sense gratification is actually serving Krishna.
Yes.
So very important point that you mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it's right. Practically, when we are like doing artis or we are singing, it happens with me. Like when I don't get a chance to sing, I'm like, why am I not getting chance to sing? I also wanted to sing, but why don't we think in that way? Like, okay, if not me, this person, he's just serving Krishna. Then that's so nice. That's what I want. My desire is not to serve myself or gratify my senses because I wanted to sing. At some point, it's good. Like I also want to sing for Krishna, but our consciousness, if it's like serving, then that's very important. Then you don't feel that bad feeling for other person. That's from where the jealous or this anger things comes up.
It's actually our ego that is coming when
Yes.
we want to sing. But Radharani's consciousness is she wants to serve Krishna.
Yes.
She's pushing others.
Yes.
And you serve Krishna. She wants
Yes.
better for Krishna, not better for herself.
Yes.
So if we want better for Krishna, then we'll push others. Oh, maybe she can serve Krishna well.
Yeah.
Maybe he can serve Krishna better than me. So that's how we will push others. But if we are self-centered, if we have that ego pride in us, then we'll be like, no, I can do the best.
Yes.
I have to do the best. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes we know that okay, maybe this service we have to do it. But sometimes we, if we have this consciousness of serving Krishna better, then we will push others and then we will empower others.
Yes. And when we do this, then we become favorite of Krishna. Then we become his favorite.
Just adding on to Prabhu's point, Prabhupada actually mentions that Krishna consciousness is the answer to so many things in this world. So, and then I was like, this is one thing, the answer to everything, right? But then when you look at just the word being Krishna conscious, where you said that looking, like seeing Krishna everywhere, then again, right, you cannot do anything bad to anyone. Always ready to serve that person because you know Krishna is that person. That is very, very interesting point, and especially I like the point about your conversation with Maharaj, about how Maharaj guided you. So, because at one point of time, you were at the stage where you become self-centered and you were like, Krishna is not, reciprocating with me. But then, when you stop and when you reflect back at the point where you see how, where you see that Krishna has been reciprocating, but we've been blind, we've just been focused on ourselves, So that was a very good way, and how Guru guides us back to this, state of Krishna consciousness. So that was a very interesting point. I just had a question, like you mentioned about, the fact that, how one may one may be, one may want to do a service, but and someone else has received a service. So this particular form of jealousy might come in. Is that jealousy bad in a way? That one wants to do service, or is it good is it bad in a way that you do not like that person and that person getting service all the time, or is it good that I want to do more service? Is that what?
So there here it comes two things. Like if you are thinking in such way, like okay, that person, I also want to sing because I want to personally serve Krishna by I want to sing. So you don't feel bad about that person. But then if you feel like why this person is singing every day, why I'm not getting a chance, and then you behave with that person that way, like you stay away and you feel like okay, I don't want to talk to this person just because he was singing nicely. That's very different. So it depends on your consciousness. Okay, the person is singing, Krishna, he's serving you, but I also want to sing. Can you give a chance someday? So this, your consciousness is like something else. But when you're like, Krishna, I just, I don't feel good, he's singing for you. I also want to sing, this is not fair, this and that. Then you're complaining about it. So that's how you can differentiate your consciousness.
An example that comes from one of the pastimes of Gopal Bhatti Goswami, where he was, because most of the Goswamis had deities, and he was the only one who had Shaligram Shilas, and someone came and even said, because the Shaligram Shilas were wrapped in sandalwood paste, they looked like pakoras. And then he was very chatty, he was really sad, he was like, can you please come in front of me? And then when he was describing the Shilas of Narsimhadev during on Dasi, and then he spoke about how the Lord, came out, Satyam Vidhatam Nijavittivashitam, and then what he just came, the Lord came just to fulfill, what the devotee said, so, and that is something, so exactly how we see in this situation as well.
It just so happened yesterday, I went for a root canal, and it was the most, you remember all these things when you see a dentist. Like for other things you're fine, they'll put you on an AC. they can also sedate you, but I was so horrified to go, and when I saw all those equipments and needles, and I almost left my body. But then I just remembered that in India it's worse. If you go and see a dentist, they really don't even put laughing gas or anything on you. So that's a real torture. So, but then it did come to my mind. I don't know, somehow I was coming up with some funny realizations in my head that this is not privilege. This is really happening in fraction of seconds. This is happening in this, because we're not separate from Krishna. I'm actually there, So if you try to be Krishna conscious, it does give you strength. And it did give me strength. This is not happening, Vishaka. This tooth, this dentist, we all don't exist. Trying to be little Maya at that time. But I'm just saying, being Krishna conscious helped me that, this is why I don't want to come back to material world, because my tooth could have issues, and I may, and it's just, for many it would be just funny, right? But for me it was very painful. And the reason I know that this year, I'm very confident that I want to work on my job, and I don't want to come back, because if there's been old age, disease, and death, and some diseases are terrifying. But when you become Krishna conscious, as Manu was saying, it does help you to overcome it. And it was helping. I don't know, I don't know if it was surrender or not, but it was just some funny moments of prayers. I was praying to Lord Rishidev, you have such nice teeth. Can you please help me not feeling the pain in my teeth, just because you have nice teeth? So whatever random prayers come to my mind. So, but it did help. It somehow helped, and it was fun. But the point Mona was making is very powerful. As far as we can remember Krishna, and then also just same point linked with Anshan's question. I think what Kalakanta Prabhu taught me was that anything that happens in the temple or anywhere in your life is because of Krishna. Absolutely. So if you get a chance to sing, Krishna sanction it. If you didn't get a chance to sing, Krishna sanction it. If you get to give a class, Krishna sanction it. If you did not get to give a class, Krishna sanction it. Someone may feel that, Vishaka makes a singing schedule. I don't make, by the way, Om does, but let's say I make the singing schedule, and or I make some service schedule, and I've been asked to clean toilet since last 2 years. I'm cleaning the toilet or whatever. Of course, it is my responsibility to be sensible with it, to have rotational. But let's say if it just so happens that a devotee is going through unfavorable experiences, that's actually coming through Krishna. So we're the agents, like Prabhupada would say, delivering a letter. So it's an envelope, and the letter content is not from the postman. So everyone becomes the agent. Now, this doesn't mean that now I'll act the agent of karma and I'll teach people, I'll help them in another ability. That's not the case. But whatever happens to us is the will of Krishna. And yeah, particularly for you will see that magically someone would ask you to lead kirtan out of nowhere. Magically someone would ask you to give a class. Magically someone would ask you, could you do this, could you do that? And so all that happens because of Krishna. His timings are really perfect, really perfect. And we definitely feel that why is this person singing, why everyone is going to Dham and I'm not going to Dham, and why is, this person so close to my Guru and I'm not close. All happens because of the sanction of Krishna. Very hard to understand. I also forget that. I definitely forget that. But then I remember it too. So it was a good question.
You have a question or commentary? I have a question that you mentioned about sadhana, a little bit part about sadhana. So I just was also thinking about this, that how to balance your sadhana. For example, if I'm doing more rigorous sadhana, waking up, chanting 64 rounds, doing this, doing that, okay, this is my reading time. So I tend to become dry. And if I neglect it too much, then I tend to become dry. I miss my sadhana. So how to balance it, or how to see that what is missing, basically how to balance your sadhana so that you don't become too dry, I guess.
First thing that you should have is like love in your heart. You should have love. Not like I will do 64 rounds, I will do this and that. We have to do it, but there should be love inside you. That you're doing it to serve Krishna, to make him happy. Just don't make it like so kind of a pressure for you that okay, I have to do this, all these things. This won't help you because your consciousness is like, I have to do it. Like as all the Guru Maharaj says that 16 rounds, it's not about completing 16 rounds. It's about telling Krishna that I love you, like how can I serve you? So you can balance this if you will have love. Just don't be very hard on yourself. Just don't force yourself to do it. You can just think like, okay, let me just start from little things. Because Krishna doesn't see that how many rounds you do and how strict sadhana you are doing. He only sees how you are behaving with his devotees, how you are serving him, how you are thinking about him 24/7. How in little things you are thinking about him. And when you are chanting, even when you chant 2 rounds, if you're doing it like with full focus, with full love, he will accept it. He'll be very happy. He'll be happy the same if you do 16 rounds, if you do 2 rounds. He'll be happy with both of them. But that love and that serving mood, that's what he sees. So just don't be hard on yourself. Just put little steps. He's holding our hand. He's helping us to walk towards him. So I think this is how you can do it.
Yes,
And also Prabhu is saying that see yourself the way Krishna sees you.
Yes.
Prabhupada said about chanting, someone went to Radha Kund. I think someone was mentioning this in the class also. That someone went to Radha Kund and they were asked by Subhadra, oh, you should chant 62 rounds. If you don't chant 62 rounds, you will not go back to God. And when he came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I heard this. I think, what do you think? Maybe we should chant 64 rounds. Prabhupada said, you cannot buy Krishna with your 64 rounds or any number of rounds. You chant 128 rounds, you chant 164 rounds, 196 rounds. You cannot buy Krishna. But when you chant with some love, some affection, Mahatma Prabhu's whole workshop was, have some affection, have some feeling for Krishna. Not mechanical, not just Krishna. He doesn't want a Krishna Ram. He wants some love and affection in your chanting, right? If you have some love and affection in your chanting, that is what he sees. And
and he sees what if you're trying or not. Trying is very important. If you had some energy, if you had some capacity, but still you gave up without trying, that's what Krishna doesn't want. Krishna doesn't want to be complacent, but there's one is panic zone, one is complacent zone, and then in middle is the stretch zone. So in panic zone, you are trying to do a lot, and you are panicked like, what should I do? And in complacent zone, you're like, oh, I have to do this, I will do it later. Complacent zone. But stretch zone, you plan your day, and okay, I have to do these things. You try your best. You're not complacent, you're not panicked also. You're well planned, and you try your best. So I think that will keep you balanced if you need that.
Yeah, one very quick point I will add. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a beautiful verse that you can read, 1 to 6. So it says that Save Kunsa Parodharma Yato Bhakti Ahatukiya Pratihata Yatma Suprasiddhati. So Suprasiddhati means it gives you the ultimate pleasure, the transcendental ecstasy that we all are hankering. And it's unbroken. So that's what you're probably asking, like sometimes I feel dry. So when you are totally into transcendental level, then it's spontaneous, unbroken. You should never be feeling that I'm aloof from Krishna. It's continuity. Right? So you can read that verse maybe later, but it's a beautiful verse by Sutta Goswami in the first canto.
Yeah. She wants to.
I was just reflecting on what everybody said about the Subhadra thing. Prabhupada, when he was new in the West, he was actually testing everybody. First he said 64 rounds, and then he came down to 32 rounds, and then he came down to 16. Devotees asked Prabhupada, why did you not give a 16 initially? And he said, oh, I was just testing you guys. So according to Prabhupada, 16 rounds without offenses and 4 regulated principles are enough for us to go back to Godhead. We might not find any reference for this in Shastras. 16 rounds and 4 regulated principles are enough. But because Guru has said it, Krishna is obliged to accept it. Even in the story of Nanda Kubeira, they were doing their material activities. They had no intention of being Krishna conscious. But Narad Muni, because he wanted them to be devotees, he said, okay, you become priests in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. Now, because Narad Muni wanted that, so they didn't do anything to achieve that mercy. But because Narad Muni wanted it, the Guru wanted it, that's why they got it. So even if you don't find any references of 16 rounds and 4 eggs in Shastras, but because Prabhupada has said it, Krishna is obliged to accept it. So anything that you do over it is your own sadhana. But you have to be faithful to 16 rounds and 4 eggs. That is what is there. Right? And the second part is Manu was saying about love and affection. So in the pastime of Damodar, when Krishna woke up from his sleep and he went to Mother Yashoda and he was saying, Mother, I want to drink your milk. So then when Mother Yashoda was in her own thinking, because she was thinking of Krishna. Krishna was actually inside her and outside at the same time. And Krishna was actually bewildered. Am I inside her or am I outside? And during that phase, there were some sweets inside his house, Nanda Maharaj's house, and jaggery and some other things. And they were saying, Krishna, you're hungry. You can eat us. And Krishna was like, no, I am not hungry. I am hungry for love. Because Mother Yashoda's consciousness had reached to such ecstasy that milk was just dripping from her breast. And she was just feeling so much love. And Krishna said, I want to taste that love. I'm not hungry like that. So it's that love that matters the most. Yeah, love and affection and do the needful. And if Guru has said it, it will happen.
ourselves, we wouldn't want anything which is not, love. And sometimes, let's say when we fight and argue, and let's say we just go and try to resolve it, and we say, okay, so are you still mad at me? We're seeking for that validation. And that validation is like, are you back in love with me again or not? Are you still hating me? Or this minute thing of that incident is still left with me? So because we wouldn't like it, so it's just so amazing. Like, Krishna is all about love.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like, and it's the most easy thing, and because we all like it too. It's very nice.
Love sustains us in most cases. Because I was studying, we had to study multiple systems of governance, and then I was like, and every system is fighting against each other, to destroy human hunger, or to satisfy resources or satisfy the senses, But then I was like, one thing that is missing everywhere, is, any society may have, some society may not have a certain amount of food or may not have certain amount of water, and everyone is fighting for it. One thing that's missing is love, right? Because if love is not present, and then people will always be dissatisfied. And once love is present, it can even fill up the plate. Let's say in a poor family, they may not have enough food, but just their association with each other, the loving association, and this understanding that my father does not have the money to feed me is more than enough to fill their stomachs. And that is the same thing with Krishna. That I know Krishna will feed me one day, but but for now I have his love that is feeding me.
Also, if we are in that consciousness that love is my nature, but conditioning comes in between. It's like let's say, I don't know what to give. Diwalis are coming up, and you make rangoli, that powder thing on the floor, and in order to protect it, you do everything. And if my mom would make it, she'd go crazy. Like she'd put like red tape as someone was murdered here or something. So she'd put no one come. But she's protecting it, so the beauty remains. And if we just see that, if we can protect our love in the same way, and put that boundary, that my conditioning shows up. I know now it's a different thing. Now my conditioning, how extreme it is. Is it a trauma? Is it hunger? Like I know if I'm hungry and I'm hot, I'm definitely angry. So I need to be in a room which is AC. So you can always see like how can I put a check on my conditioning, and that allows to embrace love. And it's just very nice. But thank you for such a nice class.
Just one more point. I was reflecting on what Ishan said. Like if the love is pure, that can actually fill up the plate. And I was reflecting, how Haridas Thakur, like he would just chant all day. And then you'll think, okay, when is he eating? When is he satisfying his bodily needs? And then, when you're chanting, sometimes saliva gets collected in your mouth, and then you gulp it down. And we say that when we chant, Krishna is on our tongue. It's like that saliva becomes the nectar. When you gulp it down, you're like drinking it every time. It's like, I know it's. Okay, never mind. It's like,
But that's a good image actually.
So actually it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Nigama Kalpataru Daritam Phalam. So when you read all this literature, you don't eat it. You drink it, and you relish the nectar. So you're correct. You're not. It's mentioned in Srimad, Pivata Bhagavata. Pivata means like to drink it, not to eat, and you relish. So sweet.
and it satisfies.
Yes.
Because he's a pure devotee. It's actually there, so he's satisfied in all senses.
Srimad Bhagavatam.